It was, and Swati Joshi, my colleague, is live from China as we speak, and we are now joined by our guest. We have Dr. Swaran Singh, Professor of the International Relations at JNU. We also have with us Ms. Veena Sikri, former diplomat. Good evening to both of you. Thank you for joining us here on Times Now. Dr. Swaran Singh, if I could come to you, what is it that you are going to be watching out for as far as the bilateral tomorrow is concerned? A lot of experts that we've spoken to, some are of the view that it is in fact a resetting of ties, and some are saying that we have to be a little cautious as well, because while on one hand there is trade deficit, there is also trust deficit vis-a-vis China. But what are your expectations?
There is no doubt most of us are in India and will be watching particularly the bilateral meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping and the outcomes from that meeting. But let me underline, the other two levels are equally interesting. There is likelihood after 2018 of a trilateral meeting of President Putin, President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Modi once again to bring back the Russia, India, China strategic triangle, which again has to be understood in the backdrop of tensions between India and United States, which both Beijing and Moscow have no reason to celebrate. I mean, they have no reason not to celebrate, and then try to wean India into that trilateral. And of course, Shanghai Cooperation as well. The summit meeting, again, if you remember last year, happened partly. The heads of government meeting happened in Islamabad, heads of state meeting happened in Kazakhstan. Before that, in 2023, India was hosting the summit meeting. At that time, India was very focused on G20 summit meeting. So SCO summit meeting happened, a short one at online. So for even Shanghai Cooperation Organization, India going back with sort of full interest is also going to reflect. So it's an extension of what China and India want to bring to the table together. And then what they want to do in a trilateral along with Russia and also in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And you can notice how entire Western media is carefully looking at it. And many of them are actually beginning to blame tariffs by President Trump as the reason pushing India into what is already a no limits partnership of Russia and China, which is bringing India in and creating Shanghai Cooperation Organization way beyond the regional organization. So the decisions they take, the kind of body language they showcase. Let me underline, between China and India, because of ancient civilizations, symbolisms are very critical. So note their language, but more important, note the body language. You would remember in 2018 and 19, President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Modi had walked together in Wuhan and Mamallapuram here in India. And that had sent a very different message to the Western world. So in some ways, we are seeing that replicated with perhaps far greater enthusiasm this time. So whether it is bilateral meeting of Indian Prime Minister with Chinese President or the triangular relationship of Russia, China, India, and of course the larger multilateral of 20 plus countries sitting together here in Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is also rekindling its influence and aura in that sense. So at all three levels, I think the meetings are going to be very, very interesting.